just what's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Ari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They're two really good people that you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal.
Breaking news. The Indiana Fever just fired a star player. And yes, it's all connected to Caitlin Clark. 2 major roster cuts, a playoff race on the line, and a decision that's left fans stunned.
So yeah, a disaster. An absolute disaster for the Indiana Fever. She can make her money in the offseason, but Sid Colson's probably not going to play ball again till 2027, and she might be done.
Was this about performance, locker room tension, or protecting their franchise star? We're diving into the shocking truth behind this move and what it means for the rest of the season.
Oh, folks, this Indiana Fever season, it just went from bad to worse. Let's call a spade here. It just went from bad to worse. Caitlin Clark, she's been in the lineup, she's been out of the lineup, she's been hurt, she's been healthy, she's been hurt, she's been healthy. Now she's out for an extended period of time. The WNBA website has her listed return date as August 12th. Yesterday, we see Sydney Colson go down. Hope for the best. We get the worst. Ari McDonald sitting the entire fourth quarter. Kelsey Mitchell's on the floor. I'm asking myself, why is Kelsey Mitchell playing this whole entire fourth? Oh, that's because Ari McDonald is...
This wasn't supposed to happen. The Indiana Fever were finally building momentum after a brutal start to the season. Then, disaster struck. In one single night, the Fever lost 2 key point guards, Sydney Coulson with a torn ACL and Ari McDonald with a broken bone in her foot. Both were declared out for the rest of the season.
Wow. Horrible news. Sydney Coulson, left ACL tear. Wow. At her age, there's a chance this was it. And Ari McDonald, broken bone in right foot, will both miss the remainder of the season after suffering injuries during our game in Phoenix on Thursday. Brutal. I mean, that game last night, that exposed the coach further, more than she already has been. And we lost 2 very, very competent players, including the starting point guard that was filling in for the other starting point guard. This is a disaster.
These weren't just bench fillers. Coulson was a veteran leader, the calming voice in huddles, the one younger players leaned on. McDonald was a spark plug, giving the team speed and defensive energy they desperately needed. The injuries left the Fever without a single true point guard while Caitlin Clark recovered. It also left the front office with an impossible choice.
And then there's the Indiana Fever side of things. Look, they needed Ari McDonald. Beyond just needing her in a hardship situation, they didn't have a backup point guard or ball handler who could put pressure on the rim, who could set other people up and could score beyond Caitlin Clark. Ari McDonald fit like a glove in that respect. She also hustled her tail off on defense, provided a different look there, a certain level of tenacity. And then Sydney Coulson could be called in and again, as a defensive player, a steady presence. I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think the loss of Coulson as a player on the floor is tremendous. But as a presence in the locker room, she can still be there, but she helps out while on the floor and while on the bench and all those things. Not to mention, when you lose the rest of your players, you're just out of options and you have to go to the next player. So somebody with that kind of experience is a real benefit.
How do you replace 2 starting caliber guards when the trade deadline has already passed, the salary cap is locked, and every roster spot is already taken? That's where Caitlin Clark's name comes into the equation. Clark's absence had already forced Indiana into awkward solutions. Coach Stephanie White had shifted Kelsey Mitchell into the lead guard role, even though she's naturally a scorer, and had Sophie Cunningham initiating the offense despite not being a true ball handler. White has also been reluctant to use certain bench players like KK, Chloe Beebe, and Bree Turner.
man, I don't know what their next move is going to be. Hopefully it's a good one. But we see what's going on with this with this team and this front office, man. We see what's going on, right? Coach don't want to play Bibby. Coach don't want to play Timpson. I don't know, man. The rotation is all over the place. We see what's going on.
In several games, she's played as few as 7 players, even when more were available. So with the team down to the thinnest rotation in the WNBA, the Fever made their move, waiving a player to create room for a hardship signing. The most controversial target, Chloe Beebe, who had only just signed for the rest of the season.
This is a disaster. And what this does for a potential playoff push, I don't know. Because, you know, I've seen people say, well, sign a guard or whatever. Well, there's salary cap implications out there too right now. I even saw somebody say we might have to waive Chloe Beebe to sign a point guard. So a lot of reaction. My heart breaks for Sydney and Aari McDonald. Do not rush Caitlin Clark back, though. She's going to have to play. I mean, I don't know what else they do.
To some fans, this decision looked ruthless. Beebe wasn't injured, but she wasn't in White's rotation, and every spot on the roster is now critical. Others suggested a more brutal alternative. Waive Sydney Coulson outright to free up a permanent slot, even though she's now sidelined and may be headed toward retirement. Online theories exploded. Was this really about opening space for a player who could complement Caitlin Clark upon her return? Or was it about clearing out anyone the coaching staff didn't trust in high-pressure games? Names immediately started flying around. Kennedy Carter, an explosive scorer with the ability to run an offense, became the fan favorite, though her history of locker room issues made her a risk.
Nobody better say Kennedy Carter. It's not going to happen. All right? It's not going to happen. Kennedy Carter, yes, a phenomenal player, but I really don't feel like she like Indiana. And I don't feel like she like many people in the WNBA. The way she keep going from team to team to team, all right? It's not going to work. So just throw that out the window. Anybody ready to say Kennedy Carter? I know we're desperate at this point. We are completely desperate. But fam, Kennedy Carter is not going to work, all right? Let's just keep it a grand. Yes, you can have the talent, but you gotta have the character to stay around with these other players as well and make these other players want to ball out with you, right? It's all in the motion, man. It's all in the motion. It all coexists, right? You can't forget about somebody's character and just think about their skills. All of it coexists, right? So, yeah, I can't vouch for Kennedy Carter, but everybody else who I named.
Others wished for Grace Berger, a smart playmaker now in Dallas, but her contract made that almost impossible. The hardship slot means the Fever can temporarily sign an extra player while injuries pile up, but the WNBA's talent pool is thin this late in the season. Finding a game-ready point guard who can step in and mesh with Clark is like finding water in a desert. And here's the real issue. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever risks sliding right out of the playoff picture. With her, and the right player by her side, they could make a serious run. This firing isn't just about one player, it's about reshaping the entire team's identity to match the way Clark plays. The fan base is split. Some say this was a calculated move to give Clark the best possible shot at leading the team into the playoffs. Others say it's unfair to a player who never got a real chance to prove herself. Social media has been a war zone. Accusations of favoritism, debates over the WNBA's tight roster rules, and endless speculation about Clark's influence on front office decisions. Here's my take. This is a high-risk, high-reward gamble by the Fever. They've chosen to sacrifice depth now in hopes of finding a guard who can slot next to Clark and immediately elevate the team. If it works, and the Fever go on a deep playoff run, this move will be remembered as the front office's boldest and smartest decision of the year. If it fails, it will be remembered as the moment Indiana threw away its season. Because here's the reality. The Fever's offense without a true point guard is broken. Every possession is harder, every mistake is magnified, and opponents can dictate the pace with ease. Clark changes that instantly. Her court vision forces defenses to stretch. Her deep shooting opens space for players like Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, and her leadership turns chaos into structure. The question is whether she can get back in time, and whether the new roster move gives her the support she needs to thrive. So what do you think? Was this firing about protecting Caitlin Clark's playoff hopes, or was it an unfair move that could backfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're still watching, type Clark will lead, so I know my real ones are here.
Today, Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the WNBA? I know she's made a cameo here, she's made a cameo there, she was featured as part of this rollout here, featured as part of this rollout there, but is this our first official Caitlin Clark solo commercial since she has joined the WNBA? And as well,
the $1 billion Nike deal just dropped, and it's already shaking the basketball world. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Sophie Cunningham, the Indiana Fever's fiery enforcer, just signed a jaw-dropping $20 million deal with Arby's. Yes, the fast food chain.
Well, we know somebody that has gotten ridiculously popular this year with the Indiana Fever. I made a prediction that she was going to be the second most popular player on this team by the end of the year. And then, of course, there was the big incident during the Connecticut Sun game. And by the end of that game, she was known as Caitlin Clark's enforcer, right? The one that's got her back. At times, it feels like the only one that's got her back, if I'm being quite honest. Well, that has led to a lot of opportunities because she has gone viral, all right? She's gone viral over hot girls eat Arby's. Yeah.
And behind both deals is one story that's about loyalty, power, and a move that's rewriting WNBA history. Nike had been tracking Caitlin Clark since her days lighting up scoreboards at Iowa. They saw her drop 40 points on national TV. They saw her fill NBA-sized arenas for women's games. They watched her break records, pull in ratings that networks hadn't seen before, and sell out merch faster than they could restock it. When Caitlin entered the WNBA, Nike knew she was more than just a star. She was the star.
So in your career, you got to match up against other Nike hoopers. Do you have a favorite matchup?
You're gonna get me in trouble. You know, getting to share the court with her was pretty fun, and you just see her competitive spirit.
So they made the biggest move in league history, a $1 billion campaign with a $25 million personal deal for Caitlin, making her the face of women's basketball for the next decade. But Caitlin had a plan Nike didn't expect. Just 1 week before the official campaign launch, she called Nike's top brass with an unusual request. She wanted them to create a custom sneaker, but not for herself. This shoe would bear her name and the initials of another player, Sophie Cunningham. Nike hesitated. Signature deals are solo deals. That's the whole point. But Caitlin stood her ground. I didn't get here alone, and I won't stay here alone. They agreed. On the day of the shoot, cameras rolled, lights blazed, and Caitlin opened a golden box. Inside, a white and gold sneaker embroidered with the word Legacy on the tongue and the initials SC. She turned to Sophie and said just 3 words, "This is ours."
And it looked like Nike has finally broken their silence about Caitlin Clark. Guys, then it goes on to say, but in her rookie season, she only wore a handful of Kobe PE sneakers, which means that there's possibly more Kobe PE shoes featuring Caitlin Clark that could be coming out. Now, we do know there's another pair, I believe they're white and blue, that is set to be coming out in October. But it goes on to say, now Nike is scheduled to release not 1, but 2 shoes for Caitlin Clark. That's not all. In addition, 2 different shoes. Caitlin Clark will get her own signature logo and an entire clothing line. Damn.
It was a moment that blew up social media within hours. No WNBA star had ever split their spotlight before, and Caitlin didn't just give Sophie a gift, she gave her a platform. Why Sophie? Because when Caitlin entered the league under fire, booed, targeted, even shoved, Sophie was there. She stepped in when veterans wouldn't.
It just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of...
They are, but I just hate that because, like, this is what we've always wanted as a league. So like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like you are literally making money from the viewership.
And what she made the chirp was about how she didn't help plan the fucking
Who cares? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I just hate when like people do stuff to get, it's like clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and there's so much clickbait, especially surrounding Caitlyn. And so like, it's just like, just be nice. Like, why can't people just be nice?
Yeah.
That's what I don't.
Why bully the person who is like not 100% responsible, but like has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
Sabrina? No.
No, there's really good, well-known people in our league. I'm not discrediting them. Like, we have a lot of badasses in our league.
Yeah.
Like, hell yeah to that. I'm all for that. But when people try to argue that she's not the face of our league, or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb.
She took hits, got into confrontations, and even paid fines to protect her rookie teammate. And Nike wasn't the only one watching. Out of nowhere, Arby's, yes, the fast food giant, swooped in. They saw Sophie as exactly the kind of bold, unapologetic personality that could grab attention outside of sports. The deal? $20 million over several years. It was one of the most unexpected endorsement moves in sports history. Why Arby's? Because Sophie isn't polished for the cameras. She's real. She's taken bruises, traded trash talk, and still stood tall. And now, she's using that image to break into a market no WNBA player has touched. The reaction around the league was immediate. Aja Wilson posted a single emoji. Angel Reese went live to talk about it. Some players were silent. Others were openly emotional. Inside one locker room, there were tears. Not of anger, but admiration. As one Fever teammate put it, she didn't just take the bag, she shared it. Who does that? But Caitlyn's play here was bigger than Sophie. Nike quietly approved something they're calling the legacy line. Each year, Caitlyn gets to choose one player, not a teammate, not necessarily a friend, just someone who's earned it, to be part of a co-branded release. Each player gets their own golden box moment. It's not just a sneaker drop, it's a dynasty. This is where jealousy creeps in, because in a league where rookies are often shoved around, Caitlyn is now building a power circle. The more she lifts others, the more her influence grows. And Sophie Cunningham, she just became the first name etched in gold. The WNBA has always been tough. Rivalries run deep, rookies get tested, and respect is earned the hard way. But Caitlyn Clark just changed the game, not by dominating the scoreboard, but by reshaping what power looks like in women's basketball. The billion-dollar Nike deal makes her the league's face. The legacy line makes her the league's kingmaker. And Sophie Cunningham's $20 million Arby's contract proves that the ripple effects are real. She went from being a respected veteran to one of the most marketable athletes in the game, all because someone she had once protected decided to return the favor in the biggest way possible. It's a reminder of a simple truth: you protect those who protect you. In a sports world obsessed with taking, Caitlyn Clark is making headlines for giving. And in doing so, she's not just the face of the WNBA, she's the heart of it. This isn't just about money. It's about rewriting the rules of influence, loyalty, and legacy. And with one gesture, Caitlyn Clark just proved she's playing chess, while everyone else is still figuring out checkers. Who should Caitlyn pick next for the Golden Box? Drop your pick in the comments. I'm reading them all.
7 o'clock. What y'all doing 7 o'clock tomorrow?
What's up? Just nothing.
Better not be no work, nigga. I know that. No, I got 4 front rows to the throwing party.
Oh yeah, I'm done. All right.
No. It's the WNBA. No. I'm sorry. It's the WNBA game.
It's the same.
No, the WNBA game. It's the WNBA game. But right now, they not throwing t-shirts no more, bro. Yeah, you ain't said they throwing them.
How are you supposed to catch those though?
Like that. Listen. I was at the game last time. I was where the green one at?
Wait, do it again. What you do?
I caught my ass.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Hell no.
Nah.
It's the new thing.
You got one, bro.
We're not even watching the game no more. We just waiting. You're just waiting now.
Chaos has officially taken over the WNBA. And no, this isn't about a fight or a bad referee call. It's about more green dildos being launched onto the court mid-game.
The funny thing is like my parents and my sister, they literally text me after or before every single game, like saying good luck, like da-da-da, you know? And my mom, I'll send it so everyone can see this, but my mom, she goes, instead of like my good luck text, she goes, watch out for flying dildos tonight. And then the other one said, did you really just post the dildo tweet? It got some legs. And she goes, it's funny, a lot of others think so too. Did you see the dildo hit the court? I was like, I never thought that I'd be talking about this with Mama P.
Hitting players, interrupting play, and sending the league into full-on damage control. And the craziest part? Sophie Cunningham warned this would happen. And then it happened to her.
Dildo. Dude, green machine. Green machine.
That's
honestly
electric.
Dude, it's funny. Like, don't get me wrong.
You had a response.
It's hilarious. But then I tweeted, like, I was like low-key joking. And I think people, like, I was like joking but serious, but like more joking than serious. I wasn't even thinking about my ankles. I was thinking about, like, if someone threw that thing and, like, first of all, the bounce that thing had, if that smacked someone in the face, you know that that's going to be plastered everywhere. And if it didn't hit, if it came from the top, I didn't even feel good about that. Dude, I'm thinking about, like, if it gets, like, I just know how things go viral now, and I just know if that thing, like, even came from, like, the rafters or bounced and just slapped me right in the face, that would be what I'd be known for life. So I was just trying to protect all of our images. And yeah, break a f***ing nose, what the heck?
But how did this bizarre trend even start? And why are fans doubling down despite arrests, public outrage, and league crackdowns? What you're about to hear might be the strangest and most controversial segment in women's basketball history. It all started with one strange interruption. In the middle of a WNBA game, Hayes drove to the hoop, got blocked by Maya Caldwell, and then, out of nowhere, something green bounced across the court.
And 8 assists to add. Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell. Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will continue play as that goes off the fingertips of the Valkyries, but that needs to be addressed.
Well, let's go back to the block, though. Hayes thinks she has the clean shot, and Maya Caldwell just comes over and saves the possession. Excellent defense from Caldwell, and that's her job. That normally, Jordan Canada didn't know something flew on the court. She's being told right now.
At first, nobody could tell what it was. Then the broadcast replay zoomed in, and the internet erupted. The object? A bright green dildo, thrown from the stands. The officials hesitated for a second, but decided to keep the game going. Security scrambled to figure out where it came from. But by that point, the clip was already making the rounds online. The video didn't just capture the flying object, it also caught a massive airball, adding an extra layer of mockery for the WNBA. What most thought was a one-off turned out to be just the beginning. At the very next reported incident, play was stopped again as another green object sailed onto the floor. A man casually picked it up, smirked, and walked away, almost as if mocking the situation.
Got a whistle away from the basketball.
It was clear this was starting to become a thing. But the turning point came with the third big incident, because this time the target was Sophie Cunningham.
The Fever played the Sparks last night, and it was the third installment of Flying Dildo Gate. That's right, we had another dildo come flying out of the stands this time and nail Sophie Cunningham. Somebody protect her at all cost. Somebody protect Sophie Cunningham at all cost. She is offered a retort after said dildo drubbing out on the court.
And here's where it gets ironic. Sophie had just posted on social media telling fans to stop. Her exact words, "Stop throwing dildos on the court. You're going to hurt one of us."
It's been going on quite a bit, and just in case you haven't been taking women's sports seriously, I haven't.
Last Friday, Sophie Cunningham, who's in the W, she tweeted this out. She said, "Stop throwing dildos on the court. You're going to hurt one of us."
The post got plenty of attention at the time, but nothing compared to what happened next. In that game, another green dildo came flying through the air and hit Sophie directly. Fans on social media immediately labeled it poetic justice. Her original post did not age well, as commenters gleefully pointed out. The incident went massively viral. 184,000 likes, 13,000 reposts, and endless memes.
And then late last night, after another one happened, she actually responded to her own ex-post saying, "This did not age well," and here's the video as to why.
4 here before halftime. Oh, look out. Something just came onto the floor.
Bad choice of wording.
Just flew in as the free throw was being...
They're always kicking it. No one wants to pick it up.
No.
It looked like that hit a player, too.
They don't like penises in the WNBA, Josh. Come on.
Surprise!
Well, I mean,
obvious
who
reasons
wants
for that. Ew, penis.
Someone coming out with a hazmat, and it's always, just so you know, it's a trend. It's always lime green.
At this point, the trend was no longer just a prank. It had become a cultural moment, a meme-worthy tradition that certain corners of the internet were determined to keep alive. Fans began joking about bringing their own to games. Some speculated it might even be a marketing stunt, pointing out Sophie's paid partnership with Arby's and her I Have the Meats campaign. Others suggested the league should lean into it, using the chaos as a bizarre attendance booster. Meanwhile, the WNBA tried to restore order. Security checks got tighter. People were arrested for throwing objects, but the incidents kept coming. One was caught in the stands before it could reach the court. Another made its way to the floor during warm-ups. And in one clip, a fan grabbed the object barehanded and hid it under his shirt, like some kind of trophy. By this point, we were up to at least 4 or 5 documented cases. Commentators joked that it had become the league's most entertaining moment since Caitlin Clark's injury took her out of action. The chaos reached its peak when back-to-back games were interrupted, with fans openly mocking the league online. TikTok edits, Twitter memes, and even fake rules for dildo-throwing minigames were being posted. Some clips perfectly captured the absurdity, with an airball immediately following the throw. It was like the internet couldn't decide if this was a scandal or the best marketing the WNBA had ever gotten. For the league, it's a nightmare. They've worked for years to build credibility, increase viewership, and focus on the athleticism of their players. Now the conversation is dominated by an object that has nothing to do with basketball. But here's the real problem. This isn't just about the WNBA's image. It's about player safety. Whether it's a prank or not, anything thrown at a player mid-game can cause injury. And as Sophie herself pointed out, you're going to hurt one of us. Still, the cultural side of sports is unpredictable. Sometimes the strangest moments are the ones that stick. In an era where viral clips drive attention, the WNBA has to figure out how to shut this down, or risk it becoming part of their identity. So what do you think? Should the WNBA crack down harder on this chaos, or just embrace it for the attention it's bringing? If you're still watching, drop green dildo in the comments so I know you made it to the end.